said the word unworthy before. More than hearing it or even saying it, surely in a certain time of our lives, we might have felt that ourselves. When we think of its meaning and associate it to the feeling that it causes in us, we wonder. It is a feeling that leads one to feel incapacitated, worthless, with a sense of no value, at some point, even useless. No one likes that feeling. No one likes to be called that. But at times, in certain occasions in our lives, we are faced with that feeling. Things come before us and we feel like we are not capable to do them. No matter how much we try to believe that we can, the feeling keeps on coming back and hit us and remind us, you are unworthy. You cannot do it. For instance, when someone is tasked to do something that he or she hasn't done before and has no experience about it, when one is challenged to address a specific situation that one is not familiar with, at times we actually can do. But somehow the things we are focusing on or people with whom we interact with makes us to doubt our own capabilities. I hear many Christians coming up with a lot of theories when they observe how our world has changed. Faith and hope are lost among God's people. Some are at a point where they believe no one will ever bring change in this corrupt South Africa. Many are questioning God's saving power. We have a lot of questions. Where is God when the world is like this? Where is God when kids are being raped? Where is God when women are being abducted? Where is God where the rich are enriching themselves with the money for the poor people? Faith is lost because the situation is getting worse day by day. We are all very worried about the future of our kids and our grandkids. Some even doubt that God still calls and uses people to bring change. Though everything looks hopeless, God still calls and empowers his people. Peter, a fisherman who later turned to one of the great apostles in his first encounter with Jesus, he did not accept easily the task that was given to him. After spending an entire night, which was the best time, trying to catch a fish, now Jesus challenges him to go back. Tired as he was, with a certain reluctance, he accepted. And after witnessing the miracle catch of fishes that almost sank his boat, he felt unworthy to stand before the Messiah. He felt that he had no value and that he did not deserve to be before him. Ordinary people like Peter are called to serve, yet he did not feel worthy to take on the calling. Somehow, we have all been there. We doubted ourselves. God said something to us and we said, I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm too sick, I'm too sinful, I'm too whatever that can come to our mind. From today's account, we learn that when it is about God's calling, no one is worthless. All are called to serve, not through their own capabilities, but through God's grace. Paul puts it very well by explaining his past and how the grace of God equipped him after persecuting Christians in the Corinthians reading. Last Sunday, we had the readings and Gail speaking about God's calling to all of us. Indeed, God called each one of us for a specific purpose in His church. Not only this church building, but the church as a whole, outside, out there, our colleagues, our friends, those people that we meet on the road. We all want to respond positively to the call, but at times we feel that we are not capable. We do not have the skills needed. We feel we do not have the resources needed, or we do not have the charisma that is needed. In fact, just like Peter, we rush to point out barriers first because that's what our naked eyes would see and look at. But God, in His immeasurable grace, bestows in all of us what we need to proceed and succeed in what He calls each one of us. We might have not been perfect in the past. Maybe the ways we followed and the actions that we took in the past pushed us far away from God. And we struggle to reconnect and come back to God at this moment. The truth is, God cleansed Paul and prepared him to go and be a herald of His message to people that was in despair and had lost their faith in His time. Jesus prepared and empowered Peter, and he became the greatest apostle of all time. Me and you can also be cleansed and empowered by God's grace to fulfill His mission. We might feel unworthy, it's normal, but God calls and uses us as we are to serve His purpose. When we come before the altar, we receive the body and blood of our Lord, which cleanses us, purifies us, and empowers us to go out and serve Him. Therefore, I know now we don't say it, but when we go back after when COVID goes down, every time when we say a prayer of humble access, that one that we know very well that says, we do not presume to come to this table, going on and on. We are called to say it, acknowledging that we are not worthy, but through God's grace, we rejoice that we are made worthy to partake in God's table. And we are empowered to go out and do God's will as faithful servants, not by our power, not by our capabilities, but by God's grace. We are capable of going out there and doing God's mission. Amen.